Hello, everybody. All right, we will give people just a couple minutes to join us before I really get started. But I'll go ahead and start with just a brief introduction. So I am Liv. I live in Texas, specifically in Dallas, in the United States, and I have been doing online teaching for about 2.5 years. Before that, I was a high school English teacher for 8 years. And then back in 2021, Jess got me started with online teaching and how to do this by myself. And so she gave me a lot of help and guidance along the way. And now I'm able to share some of that with others. And so that's what I'm here for today. So today the plan is to take about 20 to 25 minutes. I'm going to share 3 Canva flyer templates with you and walk through changes that you can make to personalize them and make them fit your needs if you would like to use them. And obviously you're not required to use any of them, but I think they could be really helpful, especially as you're starting out trying to find students. So we can make them in real time. I'm going to give you guys the template links in the chat in just a second, and you can open it up and work right alongside me if you would like. Or if you want, you can just take all the information in now and make changes to the templates later on. But all 3 are very simple. They should be very quick and easy to make adjustments to. And hopefully you'll find them helpful as you are doing your marketing and looking for students. So I'm going to go ahead and put these 3 links in the chat. Welcome those of you who are joining. See a couple more people have just jumped in. So once again, I'm Liv. I'm going to be going over a few Canva templates today that you might be interested in using. So if you guys would look in the chat, I have just sent 3 template links in. So we're going to go in order. We'll start with lesson routine, and then we'll do available time slots, and then free story time. So all you should have to do is click the link, and then if you're not already signed into Canva, it'll ask you to sign in. If you don't have a sign in, it'll give you the option to do like a quick sign up with Google or your email address. But that's what we are using today. So go ahead and click that first link for lesson routine. And I'll probably send these through a couple more times in the chat. Just because if people jump in a little bit late, I don't think they'll be able to go back and see. Also, I just wanted to say up front, if we have time at the end for questions, I'll take questions for like the last 5 minutes. But please just save your questions until then, or if you'd like to put a question in the chat, that's fine. I just probably won't be able to address it till the end. I'm going to go through demonstrating everything first. All right. So does everybody have the links from the chat? Let's see. Awesome. I'm going to send them through one more time because I think somebody else joined after I sent them. Okay, so click on that first link, lesson routine, and I'll go ahead and share it from my screen. So this is exactly what you should have seen when you first clicked it, and then you click edit, or sorry, use template for new design should be what popped up for you. I think because I'm already logged in, it asks if I want to edit my template. Okay, so this should be what you see when you pull it up. This one is very simple. This is one that you might not even need to make a whole lot of changes to. But this is a flyer that you could send out just to kind of introduce what your classes are like, especially if you're teaching young kids, if you want to let their parents know, what all is included in your weekly lessons and things like that. So I made this based on what's included in my lessons that I teach. I teach about, how many classes do I think I teach like 8 to 10 classes a week right now. And this is the typical setup of all of my lessons. And so I was just thinking like that might have been something helpful to advertise when I was looking for students, especially as my students are all in China, and I know they really value homework and feedback. And so I wanted to highlight that on here that I will be giving homework. I'll be going over it with your child. So I'm not going to read all of these to you, but you can see I kind of put headings for the different segments of my lessons and then a brief explanation underneath each one. So all of this is editable. You can change any of the text here to describe what you include in your lessons. You can also delete something. So maybe you don't have kind of 5 separate sessions. You could come here and just delete a whole box out if you want, and then move things down to adjust the space. So you can really customize this however you like, or this might be exactly what you need for your class, and then you don't have a lot of changes to make. So the changes that every single person would need to make would be putting your name at the top. So I have it just kind of in brackets up here. Take those brackets and where it says name away, and then enter your name. So mine would be teacher lives, lesson routine, or you could change that to say class agenda or class setup or whatever you want it to say. And then the other 2 things you would definitely need to change are adding your photo in at the top and your QR code, or however you have people get your communication information down at the bottom. So I recommend putting your photo on everything you send out. I think it's really helpful for people to just match a name to a face. So even if it's small, I would say anything you're using for marketing, throw your face on there just so they know that's you. So for this, it's just a frame, which is really helpful in Canva. I'm going to come over here on the left to uploads, and I've already uploaded a picture of myself here that I'm going to use. If you haven't done that, you'll click upload files at the top and add in a picture of yourself from your computer, or you might need to take a new one and upload it, or steal one from Facebook or whatever. This is actually my Facebook profile picture. So what I'm going to do is grab it from the left, drag it on top of this frame. You kind of have to find the sweet spot for it. Oh, come on. Hold on, it's not working easily. I'm going to start by deleting this text box that says your photo, because that's really just instructions for you guys. See if that helps. It should go right into this little frame. Let's see. Well, it's not being friendly right now. So normally when you drag it, it just drops it right into that frame. So it has that nice little border. I'm not sure why that's not working. So I'm just going to plop my picture there. It's fine. Let me see if it'll work for the QR code one. So since that frame is not working, I'm just going to delete the frame and just put my picture there. And then I use WeChat because all of my students are in China. So the way they get my WeChat contact information is by scanning my WeChat QR code. So that's what I'm going to put down here. If you use WhatsApp or email or something else, you could just delete this QR code box and go to text and insert a text box and put that instead, like put your WhatsApp phone number or however you prefer your students to contact you. But since I use WeChat, I'm going to drop my QR code in. So I'm going to delete where it says QR code. And then there it goes. See how that frame works? That's how it's supposed to work. You just drag it over that frame that was there with the cloud and the fields, and then it should fit it perfectly for you. I'm not sure why the top one wasn't working for me. But that's it. So if you truly do start by reviewing homework, and then you have a warm up and then your new content and a review game and assign new homework at the end, you could leave everything else the same and just drop in those 2 photos, put your name, and you're done with this one. So to save it, you can see at the top, it's already titled this copy of I Teach Lesson Routine Template. You can change that title there if you want. I'm going to put live, just so I know this is my completed one. And then I'm going to click share at the top, go down to download, and then you can choose your file type here. I kind of like to use PNG. It's just like a photo file, because that's really easy to send through on Facebook or WhatsApp or really any social media stuff that you're doing. You can also do PDF, whatever you want. But I'm just going to click download, and then it's going to save that to wherever downloads go on your computer. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go to the next template. Let me drop those in the chat again in case we've had any latecomers. And then if you guys could go ahead and click on the available time slots. Here's the chat. All right, so we did lesson routine. Now we're going to move on to available time slots. So this one, I wish I had done this when I was first getting students, because it would have saved me a lot of time from like typing out, this is when I'm available. I should have made this, but instead I made it for you guys because I thought, man, I wish I had this back when I was starting. So this is a template where you can just show what times you have available. It's something that you would probably need to continuously edit and resend out. But this is something you could blast out when you're advertising, or even when you're just talking to people one-on-one, just to give them a visual of like, these are the times I have free. So I'm going to show you a couple things you might want to do here. First of all, it says at the top, available lesson times. I'll zoom in here. It says all times are in Beijing time. Like I said before, all of my students are in China, so I keep everything I do in that time zone. But whatever time zone you plan to advertise your lessons in, make sure you update that here just so people know, if they're not in the same time zone as you, they know what to refer to. And then you can come to this timetable and change all the times that you're available. So since I teach students in China, mostly in the evenings. So most of my lessons are between 1700 and 2000. What is that, 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. I like to keep things in military time like that because it just helps with time zones and teaching people across the world. Like if I say 7 o'clock, is that AM or PM? If I put it like this, I don't have to clarify. So you can just go in and manually change each time. Maybe you do 30-minute lessons and you want to say 1730, 1800, 1830, whatever. So you change the times. You can also delete a whole block. So maybe you don't teach on Fridays, just delete out this whole bottom section. You just click each piece, press delete, or you can click, when you highlight it, you can click that trash can button. So you can adjust this to fit your schedule. Another thing you could do is if you have a time that's already been taken, insert an X over it. That way, I kind of think, honestly, it makes you look like a good teacher. If you have a whole bunch of X's on there, like, oh, I've already filled up all of these slots, you better catch what's left. So I'm going to go over here to where it says elements on the left. Search elements. I'm just going to hit the letter X. And then where it says graphics, I'm going to click see all. And then I'm going to find a free one. I don't have Canva Pro, so I'm just going to find a free X. I'll click this one here because I can change the color on it. So you can see here, it made it huge. I'm going to resize that. Let's say my Friday or my Monday at 1700 is already taken. I'm going to cover that. And then I'll change the color just to make it easier to read. So you can see right here, it has two colors. It has a border color and a fill color. I'm fine to keep the whole thing black, so I'll keep the border black and change this to black. Okay, so now I have Monday 1700 blacked out. And then what I can do is just highlight this X and click this duplicate button. And now I have another X that I can put over other times that are already taken. Duplicate, blah, blah, blah. So you could send this out to people and be like, my times are filling up. This is all I have left. I put a note on the bottom here too that says book now before they're gone. So this might just be a good motivator, especially if you have people kind of on the fence. Just like sign up quickly. This is all I have left. And then if you zoom in at the bottom, again, I have space for your photo. I think it's important to just always put your photo on there. So let's see if this frame will work for me. There it goes. That's how it's supposed to work. You just drag and drop. And then I'm going to delete where it says your photo. And then same thing for QR code, drag and drop. Oh, this one's going to be tricky. There we go. See how nice that is? Make sure you delete where it says QR code. I just love how it just automatically resizes for you. It makes it easy. And then put your name. And then here, I also put space for me to type out my WeChat ID because that's another way people can search me if they don't want to look for my QR code. Again, you can change this to WhatsApp information or email or whatever. So if you do delete a day, I would maybe move things around so that it's more centered on the page, customize it how you need to. But when you're done, same thing, you can retitle the file at the top, click share, click download, and then it'll save it to your computer. Okay, and then the last one, this is one that you might all not utilize, or for some of you, you might be like, this is a great idea. I need to try this out. So back when I first started with Jess in 2021, we tried out something for a little while that was called Free Preschool Story Time, where we invited people to join us for literally a free like bedtime story. And it was just a way to kind of show what we're like as teachers and to hopefully get a bunch of people to join that we could then blast out our information to and be like, hey, if you liked this, sign up for classes with me. So I made a flyer for you guys called Free Story Time. This is the last link that I've sent in the chat. I'll send these through one more time. So there's all 3 template links again. This is the last one, Free Story Time. And we're going to go use template for new design. So this is one that if you want to do this, you really wouldn't have to make many changes to this flyer either. Just put in your information. But we used to do a weekly story time, and we would kind of rotate between a few different teachers so that if we had the same students showing up, they could kind of we could showcase different teachers who were looking for students. And it would literally be like, grab a book, hold it up, read it, maybe add some music in the background or whatever, or you could turn it into a PowerPoint or Google Slides presentation. And it was just reading a story and showing what you're like as a teacher. So then hopefully people would be like, wow, that was really great. I would love to do lessons with her. So it's short and sweet. It's something that's, it's not a huge chunk of time or prep work. But it's another way to kind of advertise your teaching services and your skills. So obviously this is geared for children. We actually called it preschool story time back when we did it. But you could do it for older kids too. You could say, I'm going to, read the first 15 minutes of Harry Potter or whatever. So it's just kind of a fun, kind of different way to advertise what you do. So same thing. We have this photo frame. I'm going to dump in my picture. Oh, it's this squiggly one that doesn't want to work for me. I think that's what it is. Okay, the squiggly photo frame. Oh, you know what? I bet it's too far back. Maybe that's what it is. I'm going to bring this to the front. You guys might have to do this. Let's see if this works. No, this frame just doesn't want to work for me today. Okay, so let me show you the manual workaround for that. I'm just going to delete it and then just put my picture there and resize. Sorry, that's not working out. Okay, so put your picture in there. Again, QR code. The QR code one is working great. You can put your WeChat ID. And then at the bottom, make sure you don't miss any of these spaces where you have to enter your own information. So it says join teacher and your name. You're not really going to do this every day. I would recommend picking one day of the week where you offer this, and you could do it weekly, or you could say every day this week. Maybe you don't have any students yet and you want to do one every night of a week. Whatever, you can adjust it, but I'm going to say every Monday I'll pick like a good bedtime hour for China. That would be probably say 19:30 for a 15-minute children's story. And then I use Tencent Meeting or VooV. It's known as Tencent Meeting in China. That's like Zoom. That's my platform that I use. So I would put my VUV meeting ID for that there. So like they can just enter that meeting ID and join, or if you use Zoom, you could put the Zoom ID or Koala Go or whatever it is that you use, but put that number in here. And then you can just blast this out on all the platforms that you're doing your marketing on. So this is just a really good way to kind of get people that might want to check you out, but don't want to sign up for a class right away. It's just kind of a good marketing strategy. All right, we have about 5 minutes left for questions. So let's see here. These are good questions that I may not know the answers to. So the first person said, where do you find stories to read without breaking copyright rules? That's a very good question. We had some curriculum back in the day that we used. So we would just pick, like, I think we were doing Alpha Tales or something. So it was like curriculum that was paid for. So I would maybe just look into that. I know in my own lesson, sometimes I'll just grab one of my children's books and read it when it's a one-on-one lesson because it's supplemental. I don't think that's breaking copyright at all. You're not charging for it. So I don't think that should be an issue if this is just a free story time, but look into that if you were concerned about that for sure. Which social media do you post these flyers on? So that's, that really depends on what you're doing with your teaching and what you've learned in the rest of Jess's course. For me specifically, my students are all in China. I did all of my advertising directly on WeChat, in WeChat groups and on moments and things like that. But I know her course has been full of a lot of suggestions about different places you could market. So wherever you do your marketing, that's where you could upload these flyers that we made today. Yeah, it looks like Emma answered that question for you too. Email marketing, whatever method you use, you could use these flyers. Yes. Okay, it looks like a couple of you answered that question for her. Awesome. All right. So how long did you do the story time for? You can do it as long as you want. I think we did it for, this was 2.5 years ago, so it's hard to remember. I want to say we did it for like 2 months, but we had 3 or 4 teachers that kind of rotated with it. We were all kind of working together to help each other find students. So you could do it as long as you need to fill your schedule, or you could, you know, just offer it for a week, like maybe even add something on the flyer, like limited time only, free story time. It's really just a way to get exposure to people who might be interested in signing up for your classes. Yeah, that's a great idea. You said to attract teenagers, you could read a piece of Oliver Twist. You could make it like, I think we had one teacher that wanted to do kind of a free book club, and she picked a higher level book and was like, once a week, we're going to read a chapter or something like that. And then let's see. So this one question, do you recommend having them contact you for a story or just putting up the class link? For free story time, I would say just give people the link. That way, anybody, for one thing, it's easier. You just have to put that one link on the flyer. I wouldn't even put a passcode on the meeting. I would just say anyone who has the meeting ID can join, because it's really a marketing tool. So if you want to have some way that you can follow up with these people, you could, you know, put some kind of sign up system with it. I'm not really sure what you would use, but yeah, if really the purpose of it when we did it was just get our faces out there and get people interested in what we do. And it was such a small amount of time and it was free. So I didn't want there to be a lot of work on it on my end, since this was just kind of a free service I was doing to try to get more students. But it's really up to you. Someone said, I teach math. I could do a 15-minute math class. That's a great idea. You could totally personalize this. And that's the thing with Canva. You can adjust all of this. Like I could change where it says story to free maths lesson. Have to, you know, adjust the size, whatever. But you can change every part of this. This was just a picture that I searched over here under elements. I think I searched children reading or child reading. So I could just search math and see what graphics come up. and, delete this, put this in instead. Maybe, oh, I deleted my stars. But yeah, you could totally personalize it to fit what it is that you do. All right. Any other questions? I got about a minute left. Okay. Let me drop these links in one more time for you guys. Sorry, I put them in so many times, but I want to make sure nobody walks away without the template links. So there's so much interest in the free story time. So I know several teachers got new students from story time. I think I got one or two that I still teach today. So this is not something in the course. This was just something that I wanted to share today with my Canva training. So yeah, this is just an idea that you might want to run with. All right, you guys, that's going to wrap up our time for today. Thank you so much for joining me. It was nice to see all of your faces, or at least your names. And I hope this was helpful. Make sure you save those links and use those templates in whatever way is going to help you. Thank you guys. Have a great weekend.